my channel. It is your girl Halle J here. Today's video, as y'all seen in the title, is going to be a full coverage makeup tutorial. Everything that I'm using in the video I will talk about. If you have any questions, anything you want to know, any future videos you'd like to see from me, please leave me a comment down below and I will get that video out as soon as possible. Before we get into the video, I do want to show you guys my lighting setup. I've done 2 other videos previously, but my lighting has changed a bit since I moved into my new condo. I have lots of natural lighting, so I don't need as many lights anymore. In my living room, this is my lighting. Like, these are the windows that I have in my living room currently, so the natural lighting eats always. Nothing new, y'all. These Neewer video lights, I use 2 of them just to get on both sides of me, and then like the direct light comes from the windows, of course. Really like these lights because they are LED. They give you the option to use battery or to just go ahead and plug it in. I feel like on the go batteries are the best. Just make sure that they are fully charged and bring the cord just in case, because I just feel like the battery's only gonna last so long, so just always be prepared. They do give you the option to dim the lights, so you can, you know, just as much as you want to. It goes up to 100%, and it also gives you the option to change the color temperatures. So of course, the higher the color temperature, as y'all can see, the wider the light will get, and then the lower the color temperature, the warmer the light will get. So my light at 46 to 4800, and this is what it looks like on the skin, especially for my brown skin girls. I like the light to be warmer rather than cooler. So it's a really good light, and I use 2 so I can get both angles, so all of the lighting is covered. I know I used to have both of these lights, and then I used to have my Neewer ring light. These are also from the brand Neewer as well. All of my lighting equipment, all of my tech equipment, from cameras, from lighting, from SD cards, from tripods, it'll all be linked to my Amazon storefront, so be sure to check that out as well. Go ahead and get into the video. Mwah. Bye. Hey y'all, so I'm starting off by doing her eyebrows. She's already had some microblading done, so I'm literally just going over what already is there. I did apply some translucent powder, that's why they look kind of like faded in a way, but it's just to help the skin stay matte before I apply the pencil. I'm using the NYX micro brow pencil in the shade Espresso and just filling in her brows, and I'm making sure in the front part of her brow I'm doing hair-like strokes to make the brow look a little more natural, and I'm just doing the same on the other side. I really like to take my time with eyebrows and not really rush it, because I don't like for my brows to be super dark or like not formed, but I don't like for them to be super dark. I like for them to be filled in, but more on the natural side. So these are the concealers that I'm using. I mixed both of these, and I'm taking it on this flat brush and just concealing underneath her brows. Once again, just using the brush to my advantage, using the flat end and just literally gliding the brush across her brow bone, and then just blending it down onto her lid, because this will also be her eyeshadow base. So for eyeshadow, I'm using the Juvia's Place, the Warrior palette, and taking that brown shade and patting that shade onto her lid and just building it up. I like to make sure I have a nice even base, I guess a nice even layer of eyeshadow before I do swiping motions, because the swiping motions kind of diffuses the product, and I like to do that the closer I get to the eyebrow so that everything is kind of like nice and airbrushed. And I'm doing the same on the other side as well. She wanted a natural bronzy look, so I made sure I definitely gave that to her and just kept everything real warm. And I'm going into this Juvia's Place Warrior 2 and taking that brown and just putting it on the center of her lid. Don't mind my hair. Braids by Chi, my Houston braider, period. I'll tag her Instagram. Be sure to check her out. But for skin, I'm starting off with this Holy Hydration Serum from e.l.f. I've been obsessed with this stuff, even been using it on myself. Like, it just gives your skin a nice glow. Those eye patches that I used on her were from Pixi. They're the brightening eye patches, I believe. But yeah, I'm just applying this all over her skin. Skin prep is so super important. Like, this is like the key to a nice base. You want to make sure the skin is taken care of before anything else. And while I'm allowing that to sink into her skin, I'm going to scope out the top of her brow with some foundation. And this is also a way that I get to test and see like if the foundation shade is matching like I want it to. And the shade that I'm using is Marquise's from the Nars Natural Radiant Longwear. And then I decided on the other side, then I decided to add in a lighter shade, which is Macau, just to like brighten it up just a little bit, because I don't want it to be like too dark. But Marquise's is like a perfect shade because it's very warm, and she has like a warm tone of skin. Like, she has like a red tint in my opinion, so I feel like this was perfect. And this is just me sculpting out her brow on the other side. Now it is time for primer. I'm using my e.l.f. Power Grip Primer and applying that all over her skin. I'm really focusing it on the center parts of her face because that is where majority of the product is going to go. So I want to make sure everything is basically staying. This helps with long wear. It's a gripping primer, so whatever you place, like, it's literally going to stick to the primer. And while I'm letting that sink in, I'm blending out this foundation on her forehead because I don't want any harsh lines, because when you let a product dry down, it becomes basically kind of stuck. It makes it even harder to blend out. So just multitasking. That's how I am super efficient when doing faces, because I'm always looking for something else that I could be working on that can help the process go more to help the process go smoothly. These are the lashes I'm using from the beauty supply. I wanted to give her something natural but not too much. And now I am just doing her eyeliner. I'm taking some of the Inglot gel liner on this disposable lip applicator brush and just carving out my line. I didn't want anything too thick. I wanted something just to, give that effect. And eyeliner on top of the lid is really good when you're applying false lashes, because it kind of eliminates the gap, like at least you being able to see that there's a gap between her natural lashes and the lash strip. So yeah. Now it is time to apply foundation. So this is just Marquise's by itself, and she's really warm, as y'all see. So I decided to go in with Macau, like I told y'all. These are the two foundations. I decided to go in with Macau here, and she's a little bit lighter, as y'all can see. So I'm just going to be mixing both of these shades together, applying this all over her face. And right here I am applying some the shade Namibia, just as like a slight cream contour, just right there on her on the hollows of her cheeks. Before I blend my creams, I like to spray it with a nice setting spray. So I'm using the Max Fix Plus and taking my fan and allowing that to dry down just a little bit. You don't want the skin too wet. So yeah, now it's time to blend. This is one of my Real Techniques brushes. I'm not sure which one, but I'll try to link it down below. But yeah, I'm just literally going to be patting this into her skin. I don't really use swiping motions, especially when I want full coverage. You want your products to sit a little while, dry down, and then you literally want to just pat it in. You want everything, all of that product. And also this was to cover her freckles up a little bit. I feel like they were still seen just a tad, but this was definitely full coverage. Like, you really can tell that she even had a face full of freckles, which I loved her freckles, y'all. I've always loved her freckles, and I feel like I still have time for my freckles to come in. I feel like I really still have time to just have some appear on my face. But anyways, that's another story. And yeah, patting that all the way in, and I'm making sure I'm getting that all underneath her eyes and everything. Like, this is full coverage to a T. So now it is time to highlight. These are the concealers that I'm using, and I'm just taking that underneath her eyes, the top of her lip, the bridge of her nose, her chin, and her forehead. This is just to brighten her and to give her more of a definition. And I just wanted her to have like a slightly bright under eye, and just to have her, you know, just look real snatched. She was going on a date, so I wanted her to be sexy, like, you know, just a little something, something, not too much. I did decide to place some concealer underneath her cheekbones just to create a little bit more structure in her face. And this is me spraying her down once again, allowing it to dry down, and then taking that same foundation brush and blending out that concealer. When using the same brush used for foundation, it just helps it to mesh better because it has some of that leftover product on it, so it just helps it to blend even more. And I am just literally blending out the rest of this concealer, really focusing on the edges of the concealer right now, and then like going towards the inner corner, towards her eye, because I feel like that's where I want most of the coverage and most of the brightness. So that'll be the last thing that I blend out. And something told me that I wanted to go just a little bit brighter, so I'm using I believe this is the Too Faced concealer in Shortbread, and I'm literally just tapping that on the inner corner and the bridge of her nose. I'm allowing that to sit, of course, and then I am taking a powder puff and just pressing this in. Make sure I'm focusing it right there in the inner corner, and then just slightly blending it out towards the outer parts of her face. Once it's all blended, I'm going to take a powder puff. Sorry for this angle again, but y'all, this is serious business. I don't play about the crease underneath the eye, so I had to get in front of the camera. But I'm using the Derma Blend Original Translucent setting powder and really focusing this directly underneath her eyes because I don't want any creasing. I want to make sure it is nice and matte, so when I'm done or if she does accidentally look down, she is already locked and loaded. And I try to work as fast as possible and just layer the product on. I don't pack too much powder on at once. I just take it kind of like layer by layer and just continue to press it in all the way into the skin until you basically don't even see it anymore. So yeah, and then I'm just going to set the rest of her face with this powder. I did decide to bake just to, you know, create a little bit more dimension around her nose. And, you know, just we going for snatched. So, I mean, baking is just a part of the snatching process. It just helps everything stay. It helps with longevity. It helps with shaping the face. It helps with just making sure the area is nice and matte. So, yeah. Now I'm taking the translucent powder on the rest of her face with a fluffy brush, and as y'all see, I'm patting it in. I am not swiping. If you swipe, it is going to create streaks in the foundation underneath. So I do take a decent amount of powder and just press that in until I see that the skin is nice and matte. For her bronzer, I'm using that same eyeshadow that I used, that first shade, and just applying that everywhere. On her forehead, hollows of her cheeks, and also the bridge of her nose. Once again, we're going for bronze and snatch, so I feel like this is the perfect warm brown. And I'm just taking a small detail brush to get on the sides of her nose and blending that into the eyebrows so everything is nice and seamless. For blush, I'm using that Warrior 2 palette, just taking that pink shade and the orange shade and giving her a nice peachy summer warm blush. I'm really focusing that orange like on the higher parts of her cheeks, and then the pink right there on the apples of her cheeks, and I'm taking it all the way like towards her nose, if that makes sense, like right there all the way up. Like it just gives this nice effect. I don't know what it is, but I like doing this. So yeah, and just making sure she is nice and blended. I'm here for a good blush. So yeah, now I am taking a what do you call this, a pressed powder. This is the MAC Mineral Last Skin Finish, and I'm pretty sure I'm using dark tan, and I'm just dusting this all over her face just to bring everything back together, everything to be one and nice and seamless. And I felt like she needed just a little bit more definition underneath her cheeks, so I took some translucent powder and shaped that out and let that sit while I do her eyeliner. I'm using that same Inglot gel liner on a applicator brush. And now I am doing her lips. This is the Ruby Kisses Forever Matte Liquid Lipstick, and I'm using the shade Cocoa Craze to outline her lips. And then in the center, I'm using the shade Dune to give her this cute little nude lip. And while I'm allowing that to dry down a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and apply her lashes really quickly. You don't want the lip to dry down too much, but you do want to give it time to dry down so it's not so wet and it doesn't get everywhere. And now I'm having her blot her lips together. Never rub your lips together, just blot. Smack them together, that's all we need. And then I'm gonna take a small brush and then just blend the rest of it. Her top lip was like smaller than her bottom lip, so a lot of the pink got over the brown on the top of her lip. So I'm taking a little bit more of the brown on this brush just to reiterate the lip line, I guess you'd say. For lip gloss, I'm using the Ulta Jelly Gloss in Popsicle, which is a nice pink, and applying that all over her lips. And that's pretty much it, y'all. I'm setting her with this Fix Plus once again, and also this NYX matte finish setting spray, drying that down. And that's the completed look, y'all. I hope y'all enjoyed. If y'all have any questions, please comment down below, or any videos y'all want to see from me. I am back on my YouTube grind, so thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for tuning in. I hope y'all enjoyed, and I will see y'all in the next video. Be sure to subscribe and comment and follow me on my other socials. Bye.